For a long time, broadband in the UK was far more limited than you actually thought. You may hear all the names like BT, Sky, TalkTalk, and think there's actually loads of choice. However, all of these providers ran over the same network. One set of cables, one set of ducts, the same operator. But slowly and surely, that reality is now changing. Over the past decade, there has been an absolute boom in altnets. These are a new generation of network builders specifically for broadband that are here to provide more competition and more choice for residents to ensure that they can receive fair prices for their broadband. Let's dive deep into what an altnet is and why they're great for the future of broadband in the UK. What is an altnet? Altnet stands for Alternative Network. In simple terms, it means that it's a company that builds and operates its own individual network separate to that of Openreach and Virgin Media. Because altnets have kind of boomed recently in the past decade or so, it means that they're able to use the latest technology when building their networks. Unlike the incumbents who have historically built their networks using legacy materials such as cable or copper, altnets are building using full fibre. It means that their network lines can run directly to your property, whether that is a home or a business. But why does the full fibre aspect matter? Well, essentially it's the latest in broadband technology, and the copper networks historically were built for a different type of communication. They were built for telephone communication, and now we're in a digital world where everything is online. And therefore, the technology that serves broadband needs to keep up with the modern day demands. Full fibre sends data signals using light, which is much quicker and is able to provide more data more efficiently than its copper counterpart. Because they control their own infrastructure, altnets have a much greater flexibility in how their network is designed, maintained, and rolled out across the country. Another way to think about this is traditional broadband runs on shared roads that were built decades ago, where actually altnets are building new roads entirely built for today's traffic and also tomorrow's. But why did altnets emerge in the first place? Well, as we said, there were incumbent networks that had mass control over the broadband industry in the UK, which means that they could decide when and where they were building at their own pace, with no real ramifications for doing so. Because large parts of the UK were waiting for a better connection from these incumbents, there was an opportunity spotted and a gap in the market to actually build to those residents first. And as the demand for better broadband grew with streaming, mobile phone improvement, working from home, that gap in the market got bigger and bigger and bigger until someone had to do something about it. And originally, altnets stepped in to fill those gaps and build to where the incumbents weren't planning to build for years to come. And it's now got to a point where altnets aren't just small builders in pockets of rural connectivity. They are all over the country, with some specializing nationwide, some focusing on one particular area. And thanks to altnets, now every year millions more premises have access to full fibre broadband years in advance of when they were originally due to receive it. The result is a broadband landscape that looks genuinely different from how it would have been 5 years ago, with genuine infrastructure competition now taking shape. So why are altnets so important for the future of UK broadband? Well, as we've already touched on, because of altnets, the transition and rollout of full fibre broadband technology across the UK has accelerated dramatically. And because it's the latest in broadband technology and is scalable for the future, it also means that it can withstand the next evolution of technology as well. Reliable full fibre broadband can keep businesses connected, which can support economic growth. It can allow remote working from anywhere. It can also start to help with digital public services, so think doctor's appointments that are virtual, as well as then support new technologies we haven't even thought of yet. All of the altnet activity as well is also helping increase competition in the broadband market. which means that you're no longer stuck with just one network to choose from. You can actually choose from a range, which means prices can come down and the consumer sees the benefit at the end of it. So what comes next? During the peak of the altnet boom, there were over 100 allegedly across the UK. As the focus shifts from basic coverage to adoption of full fibre, you'll actually see that these 100 or so altnets that once existed will slowly merge together, creating fewer, stronger networks that will cover the entire UK, which will essentially result in better connectivity for communities on a local level and also the country on a national level. But one thing is already clear. The days of being limited to one network and being stuck with one provider are coming to an end. And that is because of altnets. And that's it for today's video. Thank you for watching. If you want to know more about altnets, go to netomnia.com and you can learn about how we are operating and rolling out across the UK. Leave a like, leave a comment and subscribe to the channel if you found this useful, and we will see you in the next one.